Good morning. It's time to get in touch. In Touch is a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddi Hammer, News Director at Backyard Broadcasting.
And here we are getting ready for Garden Fest with Jennifer Dudek. She's the head chair of Garden Fest with the Master Gardeners of Lycoming County. Good morning to you, Jennifer.
Good morning to you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. How long have you been a Master Gardener? It's so beautiful outside, so we want to know about your experiences.
I've been a Master Gardener since 2016, I believe.
Okay, and that's a class. People learn for quite a while to get their
40-hour class, couple weeks long, 50 hours of volunteer services after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then every year it's 10 hours of continuing education and 25 hours of volunteer services.
Oh, cool. Well, that sounds fun. I'm sure that the people looking forward to coming to Garden Fest may have that in the back of their mind as becoming a Master Gardener themselves.
Yes, we have a Master Gardeners training information session for Lycoming County. It's offered by Zoom, and that'll be Thursday, August 11th, 7 to 8. You have to register, but yeah, you can register and get in the mindset of becoming a Master Gardener and then show up for Garden Fest.
So when people come to Garden Fest this year, what are they going to see? How is it presented to the folks that are coming to visit?
Well, we have 4 workshops that alternate every hour from 9 until 12. We have different gardens all set up through our property.
Mm-hmm.
We have herbal gardens. We have a perennial garden. We have a pollinator garden, a sensory garden. And in each one of those, we're going to have a topic that you don't necessarily have to be there for at the beginning of the hour, but it will be covered with brochures and any questions you have about that area.
How many people get involved in the planning of Garden Fest?
It takes a village. Usually every person has some hand in it throughout the planning session. Everybody chips in.
There's going to be a beginning class for the Master Gardeners in Lycoming County August 11th, but then your event's coming up on the 13th this week.
The one on the 11th is just an information. You're interested in becoming a Master Gardener.
Okay. Then on the 13th, we're talking about Garden Fest, and everybody in the entire area can come by and see all that.
Everybody's welcome. It's totally free parking.
Is that the area in Montoursville? That the location?
Yes, it's 542 County Farm Road, and that's in Montoursville.
Do families get involved when you're a Master Gardener? What kind of activities do just sort of happen when it's not big events going on?
Well, there's always our work day that we have. Every first Saturday of every month, we're always out there working and making the gardens nice.
Mm-hmm.
We participate in First Fridays downtown in Williamsport.
Fun.
We also participate every third Saturday at the Williamsport Growers Market. We also do various talks with different garden clubs throughout the area, and also certain things at the libraries, senior centers. So there's always something going on that everybody sort of finds their own niche and helps out with. So we stay busy all the time.
I wondered where your niche lies, Jennifer. What do you like to do the best?
I've been doing Garden Fest now for quite some time.
You're an event coordinator, and you just like plants.
Yeah, I've become one, yes.
What's the biggest concern as far as gardening and plants and things in our area? Are we talking about drought? Are we talking about bugs or pests? Like, what is the back of our minds problem that we want to make sure that we focus on as far as gardening goes?
Well, it's a combination of everything. You know, it's some years it's great for water. Some years, obviously, like now, not so much. Some years, we didn't have spongy moss. This year we do. Spotted lanternfly is getting prevalent in our area.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on that you have to watch out for.
Is there a bee program? I read somewhere, I think on the PSU extension site, that they have a bee mastering program that sort of gets us knowledgeable about why bees are so important.
But as for our workshops that we're doing this year, we're going to actually be covering that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we're trying to get back to is keep natives be more prominent in our landscaping. Instead of just getting anything that you see at any of the nurseries, we're trying to push more on native plants. They do better for you. They're more drought tolerant. They're more bug tolerant because they've been here for so long.
Okay.
So we have Carl Bauer, who is the assistant professor of horticulture at Pennsylvania College of Technology. He's doing our first program. He always brings the people in for us because he is so popular. He's doing the program, Keeping Your Neighbors Happy. We're going native without your yard looking like a meadow, which is important if you're in an HOA, neighbors that, might be a little picky.
It's a win-win.
And it's not necessarily meaning you have to rip out your existing landscape. You're just going to learn how to exercise control over your garden, as well as planting a lot more native plants.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a shift in the gardening world as far as up in this area, because the benefits that the plants provide definitely outweigh any of what the ornamentals provide. More natives, less work usually, because they are more natural.
Okay.
Garden Fest will help you make sense of these ideas.
I guess that's the thing. If we have big questions, we can head out to Garden Fest on the 13th.
That's why he's here. Usually he has a little snuff time for question and answer. All of our speakers will have enough time for question and answer. Carl's program will pull into our 10 o'clock program with Ian Lower. He is the environmental education specialist up at Little Pine State Park Complex.
Oh, neat.
And he's responsible for coordinating and conducting environmental education, recreational, and interpretive programs. So he comes from a really nice background to give us a talk on pollinators and their importance in our neighborhood, which are pollinators like our native species. So everything sort of works hand in hand. Everything is symbiotic. So you can't have your great pollinators without having your great trees to pollinate and your great plants to pollinate.
With these ideas in mind, are we going to be able to save our agriculture if we can get these basics into people's minds as they're younger and then grow old?
Well, I think it would do a lot for how a person looks at their yard.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being something beautiful, it would be something sustainable.
Uh-huh.
Our 11 o'clock program is Stephen Petros. He's our landscape designer from Tebbs Landscaping. He's going to tell you how to utilize your yard. So he's actually going to be working on edibles in place of ornamentals.
Okay.
So same theme just keeps going through here. More natural, better off for your yard, more sustainability. So basically, instead of planting a barberry bush, you plant a blueberry bush. Instead of planting a roseberry bush, you plant a currant bush. Yeah, so we're trying to go with having a self-sustaining plot of land for you.
You can even probably help us if people are doing container gardening and things like that. That might be a little simple.
Oh, well, that'll be helpful when we're out at the annual garden. We will have people there to show you how to do that. We'll have an Ask the Expert table. Our guys are very well informed. We're going to have other tables. We're going to have basket raffles. We're going to have some light refreshments. And going on to our fourth speaker.
Uh-huh.
Is Rick Mason. He's been lengthy careers in journalism and public relations. I'm sure everybody has heard his name.
Uh-huh.
But now he's behind the lens now and taking award-winning photographs, which he is gladly donating 4 of them to Master Gardeners, which we are happily accepting.
Lovely.
We're going to auction them off at a silent auction, and all proceeds will go to the Master Gardeners. But his photos will be out there, and he's doing a program on bonsai. He's been a bonsai enthusiast for a better part of 30 years.
Yeah, I would love to be able to grow those tiny little trees.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
I bet.
Yeah, so he will be out there at 12 o'clock. Throw a little fun in it. He says he knows enough just to be dangerous.
It sounds like a really fun group of people. I mean, as far as the social part goes, you guys all have very similar interests.
Yeah. Carl comes every year and does a program for us, so we like that.
Uh-huh.
What Master Gardeners, the one thing about is we have a wide range of what we like.
Sure.
You know, some people are into the roses. Some people are into, just the soil itself. Some people are really taking interest in the composting. So everybody really does fill their own niche in this.
How does Lycoming County Master Gardeners fit in with the other counties in Pennsylvania as far as master gardening goes?
Well, there's a reciprocal relationship. We have over 50 members ourselves, so it's a lot to handle.
I wondered if, like, the different programs as a Master Gardener, can you go to the one in, Sullivan
all
County
the
or
Master
whatever?
Gardener programs are free to go to. Some that are online, you have to register prior to that, but they are free.
Now, what website should we use to find out any of this information, Jennifer?
Lycoming County Master Gardeners. I also want to point out that we're also having garden-friendly vendors up there as well.
Yeah, what does that mean? How are they friendly to the garden?
Well, they're all garden-related. Garden-related vendors.
So we could maybe get a new trowel or some gloves.
Well, we do have some of those, but we also have the Spice Man that's going to be there.
Ooh.
And he's always down at the Bloomsburg Fair, and there is never an empty spot trying to get it. They have spices and herbs from A to Z, baking supplies, and I was told today that they're bringing their canning supplies, and they do have tons of lids for canning.
So they're going to be able to get the materials for people who want to do it.
Yes, there's at least 100 different herbs and spices and everything that you can buy. They are quite popular, so I want to make sure that people know that they're going to be attending.
What will the festival itself, will it be in an outdoor scenario? So how should we dress?
Some of it will be inside, some of it will be outside. It's rain or shine, so you come prepared.
Wear shoes that can get dirty.
Well, you should wear shoes that get dirty anyway, because you're going to be out and walking around the garden.
Okay.
We're also lucky to have the Columbia County Lyme Support Group.
Oh, Lyme as in ticks.
Yeah, so they're having a Lyme support group. And they're going to be there at our Garden Fest with a booth and a table and answering any questions people have about Lyme disease. It's becoming more and more prevalent, and more people are getting it. They're trying to really push awareness and prevention because that's one of the 2 ways to overcome it.
Lyme disease is so scary for people when you're not quite sure you got bit. You know, you can have these symptoms.
Right. And not everybody gets the bullseye rash, yes.
Yeah, my girlfriend's son had it, and he had some terrible symptoms, just not being able to hold down food, losing weight, just terrible problems that they let it go too long. They didn't even know.
They bring together people affected by Lyme disease on a monthly basis at a meeting every third Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Bloomsburg Elks Club. Topics and presenters vary for them, but they touch on subjects like yoga for the chronically ill, new screening devices, preventing ticks in your yard, and even Chinese medicine and how to deal with some of the illnesses.
Okay.
It's also a touchstone for people to share what has and has not worked for them. And it's free, open to the public, and no membership is required. They're also doing a really wonderful thing. It's a sign project where they're trying to get signs in every single public park and playground in Columbia County, as well as like key places like campgrounds, golf courses, and hunting areas. Like
Lyme disease awareness signs.
Yeah, for tick awareness, proper removal, and prevention.
Oh.
So several hundred have already been placed, and they're waiting on funds or to place more. So I think they're doing a really good thing. And awareness and prevention is their motto.
I heard that out of the deer ticks that are out there, about 30% have the Lyme disease stuff in their saliva.
It's a scary, very scary thing.
Oh my gosh, Jennifer, what else can we do to look forward to this event? It's coming up next weekend, and it's the 13th. It's going to be in Montoursville at 542 County Farm Road. Does it go into the GPS like that? It's perfectly fine to find it?
Yes, I've tried it. It works. It's the farm complex out there.
Oh, good. Okay.
We also have a couple other things to look out for. We have our stands that usually go over very well. We have our trash to treasures. It's all of our gardening stuff that might be a new treasure to you.
Okay.
So, and we also have a plant sale out there. And all those plants have come from our gardens. We do have some kids' activities and some basket raffles. Starting off, after 3 years, it's been hard to get back in the groove, but we're getting there.
That's the thing. Everybody's sort of hungry to do these things that are interesting to them with other people. Like you've been doing it alone pretty much for the past 2 years now.
Yeah.
You can get out and share.
That's one thing about gardening. You can do it either, you can be by yourself and have your peace and calm, or you can have all your friends with you and do it together.
Well, it's wonderful. I am certainly a candidate for container gardening because I have it in an apartment, but people with homes around here.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to do your gardening.
Yes. I'd like to have a big squash plant.
That gardening and looking at flowers lowers your blood pressure.
Oh, does it? My doctor would like to hear that.
Yeah. We also have a couple other vendors. We have Rose Valley Natural Soaps. Sharon's going to be out there again this year. Everybody loves Sharon's soaps, all handmade.
Okay.
We have Eleanor's Daylilies. Eleanor's going to be there with her Daylilies. And we have some other vendors out there that are all garden related. They're jewelry, garden jewelry, earth related sellables.
I like to use flowers in crafts, like to press them and then use them in cards and stuff. I'm sure lots of people have done that in the past and probably get some good advice out there for some people who already do it.
I think it has some programs on that.
Okay. Be a master gardener and go explore your creativity.
Yes, like I said, from 9 to 1. Yeah, it's going to be really nice. So even if it's raining for how dry it's been, it's still going to be wonderful.
It's all right. People who like plants don't mind the rain.
They don't mind the rain. It makes it better. It smells better.
Jennifer Dudek, you are the Garden Fest chair, Lycoming County Master Gardeners for the Garden Festival coming up here on the 13th of August, 9 to 1. Out in Montoursville. We look forward to hearing more about it. Hopefully there'll be some pictures in the paper and we'll go forward from there and maybe become a Master Gardener this year with you.
Thank you so much.
In Touch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701. Attention Freddi Hammer. Or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. For archive programs of our In Touch series, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Backyard Broadcasting. Each current weekly program is featured on the Backyard Broadcasting websites. Individual opinions expressed here don't necessarily reflect the opinions of the management or staff. Thanks for listening to In Touch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.